There's so many factors that come into play whether a company is going to be successful or not, even if you're doing great, world-class marketing.
How everything began with Webtimize.
I started in an extra bedroom in my apartment, and from here to there, one client to another, referring you from one client to the other, and you work your way up.
Is there any type of preference in how you work with these clients?
First, you gotta believe in the brand, what the objective is, what's the mission and vision of the brand, and you feel like you can make a difference. Self-evaluate yourself, whether you can make a difference for that company or not.
Are you marketing the company's services in order to get more clients, or has it been an organic growth?
We're coming up more and more often into answer engines. A few inbound leads that came recently, I asked them, how did you find us? They're like, we searched on ChatGPT or did a prompt and your agency came up.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. My name is Andres Figueira and I'm going to be your host for the day. This show is brought to you by the Global Talent Company, helping fast-growing teams hire exceptional remote talent from Argentina, South Africa, and beyond. We connect companies with world-class professionals who bring skill, reliability, and a global perspective to every role. And just for our listeners today, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your first hire. All you need to do is visit globaltalent.co, click Start Hiring, and mention the podcast listener discount when we reach out. And today, with me here, I am speaking with Abdo Mazloum, a founder and CEO of Webtimize, a Montreal-based digital marketing agency that's providing consulting services to local and international businesses. And with that said, Abdo, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. Welcome.
Thank you, Andres. I'm happy to be here with you.
It really is very interesting to be able to speak with what I believe is my first Montreal-based company. So, Abdo, in order to get the audience a bit more in context, would you be able to tell us a bit more about your background, how everything began with Webtimize, and what it actually does in your own words?
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be your first guest from Montreal. I've been in Montreal since 2002, so almost 24 years this summer. So I really like the city. I'd say a lot of experiences. All my adulthood was in Montreal, so I've learned a lot. I did my university here, not very far, in Bishop's University, which is about an hour and a half from Montreal. As soon as I graduated from Bishop's, I moved back to the city, and that's where I got into web development. So I worked for an SEO agency as my first job, an SEO agency, a web developer for an SEO agency. That's where I learned about SEO. And then I shifted jobs a little bit. I got into e-commerce, iCongo, which was purchased later by SAP. And then I got my real first full-time job in SEO at Essence, one of the biggest luxury retailers in Canada, and I would say in North America too. When I joined, there was a startup back in 2010. I stayed there for 4 years. That's where I learned about paid search, display. Social was just starting there, like paid social was just starting back in the day between 2010 and 2014. So that's where I had my first leadership experience too, where I had people reporting to me and managing a team of 4 by the time I left. Then I went to Beyond the Rack, another Montreal startup that was doing really well at the time. I was there for a year, and then things were not doing well, and I moved on to another agency where I led a team, from the start. It was an affiliate marketing agency that needed someone to develop paid search, display, social, SEO, which we did. I led for about a year, a team of 11 people. And that's where I said, now I have 10 years experience in the digital space. Why not start my own business? And that's when I really, took Webtimize seriously and, incorporated a company, and then grew it from 1 person to 5 people within 6 months. We had rent in our office. I started in an extra bedroom in my apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. And, from here to there, one client to another, referring you from one client to the other, and you work your way up, and you have enough income to hire more people and rent a space, and then scale from there. We've gotten a long way. We scaled at some point to 31 people back during COVID, when when a lot of stores were closed and e-com was booming at the time and launching new e-commerce sites. Sales were really high and really scaled very fast. We learned a lot at that scale, and then things kind of didn't go as well as we'd have liked. So we slowed down after that to scale back up. Now we're at 25 people. We're sitting at 25 people, a few million in revenue per year, and still growing. We think that 2026 will still be a growth year, and looking forward for the future to come.
Wow, I love how you gained your experience in those 10 years before Webtimize in different areas like SEO, paid socials, and you went gathering everything until you said, "Hey, I'm ready for an agency." That sounds like the proper preparation in order to take on an endeavor such as this one. And Abdo, in terms of once you started and you said, "Okay, Webtimize, this is going to happen. I'm going to create this agency and start hiring people," when you were in your own office in your extra spare bedroom, how much time was it since you consolidated the company and got your first client?
When I was at Beyond the Rack, I did do some consulting, a little bit of consulting at the time, some people reaching out. So yeah, you have your full-time job, you have a side hustle, you're helping, my gym, I did their website, some of it was for free, for friends and family. So experiencing that, my first experience as an entrepreneur. So you build that network, right? Like you have 10 years experience, you build a network of people, and these people are going to refer you to do some work for them. And when I quit, and I was like, yeah, now it's serious. Like, send me, if you know anybody who needs a site build, who needs campaign management, anything like email marketing, we take it. Anything that is digital, we take it, we learn it, you fake it till you make it. Although we had the experience. So yeah, when you're starting out, you take anything, and sometimes it was a mistake to accept any type of client, right?
Of course.
Some clients are not good for business too, which suck up your time, and you end up losing some money if you put a lot of effort on a client that likely will not perform if they don't have a strong brand, strong customer experience, a great product, high competition. There's so many factors that come into play whether a company is going to be successful or not, even if you're doing great, world-class marketing, as you say.
With that understanding of that, maybe some clients don't work as well or might not be a proper fit with you guys, have you found yourself or have you noticed any patterns in the type of clients that you are taking on? Is it a certain kind of size of company, certain industry, or is there any type of preference in how you work with these clients?
First, you gotta believe in the brand. I think at first, as I said, you really would take anything. If you're starting off as an agency founder and starting to grow, you would take anybody, and which I think is a mistake. You really have to understand the brand, what the objective is, what's the mission and vision of the brand. Do you believe in that mission and vision of the brand? And you feel like you can make a difference. You should self-evaluate yourself whether you can make a difference for that company or not. And once you believe, you have to have a strategy, right? You put the strategy, you lay out the strategy, you communicate the strategy with the brand owner or the representative, whether that's an e-commerce director or manager or VP. Mm-hmm. And if there's alignment there, then it's good to tackle it, and the expectations have to be set. Do they have a defined budget, right? Are they a startup? They have no budget, which is not great if you're starting off, as a marketing agency trying to support a company that doesn't have a budget. Ideally they need to have a budget established. Do they have any track record? What's their run rate? What's their revenue? You need to ask all those questions and understand. Ideally, you're looking for businesses that do over $1 million, established enough to be able to support them in some capacity as a marketing agency. They're big enough to work with an agency, and they may be also small to have an in-house team. Although in some cases we work with clients that have in-house teams, but they need extra support and execution and expertise and technology. Being an agency, you can afford to buy licenses, and you have your proprietary tools that you've built for some brands and they make sense for other brands. So there's pros and cons to work with an agency or build your in-house team, I would say.
Okay. No, but yeah, from what I'm hearing, and then I notice it's having like a a certain amount of revenue, being able to afford what the agency is offering, because if they don't even have a budget, then how are they going to pay for the different ads and everything like that? So I get it. And how many clients are you managing, let's say monthly, or do you have a certain wallet of clients that you're just taking care of? And maybe you could tell us a bit more about that.
We have an average of 50 clients on an ongoing basis, like monthly retainers. There's times we had less, more, but after 8 years really working at it full time, we got into a rate of 50, and we're prepared to take on 10 more, no problem, the next year or so. Yeah, you're going to lose some, you're going to win some, so it's going to always average itself out.
You mentioned that, okay, you started alone in your spare bedroom, then you even got an office, but now you are 25, if I'm not mistaken, the amount of people you have helping you out with this?
Yeah, for sure. Having a strong team is the foundation to take on more business and service more clients.
Of course. No, I'm just asking because 50 clients, I feel it's a lot. So I'm just saying, okay. And in terms of how, what's it called? How Webtimize works, is it a remote first company, or do you have everybody go into an office with you where you're working together in order to be able to handle things quicker?
We have an office about 5,000 square feet, I'd say. It's big enough to host everybody at the same time, but we have a hybrid model. Most of our teams are in-house or locally in or around Montreal. We have some people that are external or overseas that support us as well, but the majority of the team are actually local. We encourage people to come twice a week to the office. We're about eight times a month. That's the policy we have now. We've shifted. It used to be once a week, but we're always evolving and learning to see what's the right model. For now, it's hybrid.
No, I totally understand. And being in the office, I feel it really helps with the fact that you can get solved a lot more things quicker. And that really helps out. Even if over a coffee break, you're chatting about something, you can have an epiphany and then just get this done rather than in the remoteness of it. Sometimes you get lost in time zones and in translations. But okay. And Abdo, are you guys using AI in any strange or peculiar way that you would be able to tell us about?
Of course. It's been several years now. We're using it. Google, being a Google Premier partner, they're all over AI today, and they're shifting from being like a search engine to become an answer engine in a way. So I'd say yes, you have to. We've been testing with all the tools that Google provides, all the smart bidding stuff. We work with ChatGPT as well. That helps us with content. Gemini. Now in SEO, it's becoming, in a way, the SEO becoming AEO or GEO. All the optimization around being retrieved by the LLMs. So that's what we're working on. And we have developed our own agents as well to support us to do things faster, whether it's reporting and generating insights. We have a technical team who's well versed in that and constantly doing testing, and there's more and more. We spoke to a company recently too that does alerts and recommendations after you plug in your accounts onto that tool. Yeah, it's a new tool that is being developed using Claude and tokens as well. So basically connecting your media accounts to their tool, and then it generates recommendations or alerts daily, weekly, real time to help with optimization. So basically to do more with less. And you're really using the technology or AI to help you do more with less.
I now understood a bit more of where and how Webtimize began, the level of clients and the style of clients that you guys manage. Would you be able to also tell us a little bit also about your marketing philosophy? And if you have any philosophy or way of thinking about marketing that you try to do with all the different clients you have, or if it's more like a come and serve and you understand them and then it adapts, but maybe you could tell us a bit more about that.
Again, as I said, we're a data first or data driven agency. We call ourselves performance marketers or a performance marketing agency. How to do that? By having a strong tech infrastructure to support with all the marketing decisions that you take. First is really understanding the customer objective. What is the customer objective? And then does that objective align with the inputs that are required. The inputs being, the right budget. They have the capacity to produce the right creatives. The flexibility in how you run things, you do campaigns. What are the guardrails that you have to put into place? Really understanding that from a customer's perspective.
Okay.
And then if you validate all that, there's alignment there. You put in a media plan in place. You also run it by the client. You get the feedback. You can obviously make some changes to it, and then you start trafficking this type of campaign or the campaigns, and you look at the results and you establish those baselines, and then based on those baselines, you make more adjustments and iterations and more tests and improvements to meet the customer objective. There's times where you may not meet the customer objective, and most of the time what didn't perform well. Was it competition? Was it the cost per click? Was it the click-through rate? Was it the engagement rate? All those questions you can get answers after running some campaigns. So it's a lot of testing and learning and iterating, and then optimization on the campaigns that you have run in the past or you just run to inform what the future outcomes may look like based on the learning that you've collected over a period of time.
No, and I loved how it's all about the data, and that is what drives the decisions and what actually provides, when you work with your clients, then the reasoning behind why something worked or why it did not work out. Do you have an example maybe of a campaign you could tell us about that really performed well and how you made it work?
There's plenty, but one that comes to mind too. We worked with a retailer that had 300 stores across the country. So a large national brand. They wanted to validate how digital would perform for them because they were heavily invested. That was a few years ago. They were heavily invested in traditional media, in TV, radio, print, and they wanted to see how would digital perform for them if they spend heavily in some areas. They didn't want to go nationwide, so we selected 2 provinces. Think of them as 2 states as well in the U.S. that have similar behavior. The weather is relatively similar. You're trying to minimize the amount of differences.
Okay.
And you think of an A/B test and you say, let's really turn on the heat on one side, or one geo over a 3 to 5 week period. Look at the evolution over time. Look at traffic counts
in just one province, just to see what would happen.
Yes.
Okay.
So you do that. I think we did it for 5 weeks, and you see the evolution, the increase week over week. And once that's finished, you have the numbers, you have the data, and then you flip it. You selected your test group, and you have your control group. And then what you do is your control becomes the test, and the test becomes the control. So you have a test and control, A/B and DA test. So we did the first, and we validated that the results were actually really good by investing more in one geography versus another. And the results were positive on both sides, and it's validated to the brand, that spends multi-million-dollar a year on media, that digital has an impact. It's pretty efficient, more efficient than traditional media, more measurable, and more cost-effective as well. That was a campaign that first came to mind. That we did it a few years back. There's plenty of.
I love how you cross-checked both subjects just to make sure it actually worked. And then did the client actually do the investment to just have it all maxed up in both provinces to see what happened? And was it a success?
Yeah, and slowly there was a gradual shift as well from investing 90% of their budget in traditional media, and today they invest 50, if not more, into digital. So it was like an epiphany for the client, and then it was a gradual shift, moving away from one type of marketing to a new type of marketing.
Okay, that is so cool, man. I love that anecdote. It's super, and you can extrapolate that to try with different things. It doesn't just need to be marketing, but I love that way of thinking. And Abdo, also, I understand that you, in your 10 years that you gained all the experience, you obtained and you were able to do a lot of networking, and that was how you started to get your clients. Nowadays, with how Webtimize is, are you marketing the company's services in order to get more clients, or has it been an organic growth where just through public relations and whatever you've been able to amass this wallet that you have now?
Yeah, it's a combination of the two. You do your own PR. you work on your own marketing when you have time. We're a marketing agency, but there's times, we
Well, you
kind
can't
of
market
like
yourself.
put our own marketing on the back burner because we're so busy with our clients. But I'd say we're coming up more and more often into answer engines, which is positive. A few inbound leads that came recently, I asked them, "How did you find us?" Curious, how did you find us? They're like,
Okay.
we searched on ChatGPT or did a prompt, and your agency came up, which is great. So definitely we're doing something right. And it was positive, and I told the team, let's invest more in that because it's bringing us organic leads and growth. I'd say that's one of the greatest channels more recently. And I would say that's more of an inbound. But then on a relationship side, having a strong reputation or a good reputation, you do good work, the positive news is going to travel pretty fast. Good news will travel fast, but bad news will travel faster. So if you're not doing a good job, for sure your business is gonna get hurt. It's gonna feel the impact of any negative work that you've done
Of
for a
course.
client. So
Oh,
ensuring you do good work, any business that is doing great work for the clients, that the positive news will travel fast.
AI SEO is what's working right now for you guys organically. And did you actually have to tweak anything or do something to be able to appear higher in those AI searches when people ask ChatGPT or anything like that? Or has it been something that due to the good reputation that you have, you've just been included in that combo when people are looking into it?
Doing good SEO, the foundation of SEO, like really doing good SEO for the user, is the foundation to be well retrieved in the answer engines.
Okay.
Maybe the only thing is producing more content. We still don't produce enough as much as I'd like, because the fresher the content, the better the content, the more likely that the answer engines will pull your brand.
Okay.
There's definitely a bias for content freshness. So any videos, these LLMs, they take into account videos, anything you do on YouTube, on the social side. Reddit has been one of the top sources for citations.
Okay. Wow.
So all that, of course, being listed in directories, it helps. Having proper, basic SEO architecture and content, the header ones, the header twos, the URL, the schema markup, all these basics that you have in place are good. It's a good foundation, but producing content and then publishing it on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on these social media platforms are going to help you. Reddit, if you're able to do some stuff on Reddit, we haven't done much. We wanted to do more, but it's always like put on the back burner until someone gets the chance to work on it.
Okay. So
Reviews and ratings are very important to anything that you do with GMP. So I can go on, but just for the sake of the interview, let's yeah.
I love the mini masterclass about answer engine optimization because I was not aware of the different perks and details that they pay attention to. But it's crazy. Okay, I understand. I understand better now. Not completely, but I understand a lot better.
Great one. I'm glad I can give away some insights.
Impart some wisdom in a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
And I'm also I'd love to know, now that we are, well, it's almost February now, but we are in the beginning of 2026. What is your vision and your goal for what you would like Webtimize to accomplish this year?
So continue the growth. We've put in objectives to grow our revenues at least by 15% this year, grow our team to support by about the same size. We'd like to get to 30 people by the end of the year. It may be a bit ambitious, but that's where we'd like to be. To sign more deals, the goal for me, I handle business development for the company now, to sign at least 2 deals a month, and we're on trend. Closed 6 deals since the beginning of the year. December was slow, but January came in and so we closed 6 deals. So
way to go, man.
Yeah. And we lost a few at the end of the year, but as I said, it balances it out. There's always ups and downs in agencies. And these are the 3 main goals, grow the revenues, grow the team, and sign more deals than the deal that you lose.
Now, and that is the only way to grow sustainably, because it's not growing in a rush, or just making sure that the amount of clients you have can take care of the amount of people you have helping you out as well, because it can get hectic. But I'm sure you'll meet those goals and even many more that haven't been mentioned. But now I'm noticing that we're almost at the end of the episode, Abdo. But before I do close out, I would love to give you the space to let anybody who's hearing us right now know if they want to contact Webtimize, if they want to see if their business and what they do is a good fit for the help that you guys offer. How could they go about finding out further and maybe contacting you guys to see if it's a fit?
Yeah, it's easy. I would say our website is the best way. Go to our website, webtimize.com, or our socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're comfortable with. We're pretty much on all the social media platforms for businesses. Reach out, ask any questions. We will happily give you 30 minutes of our time to give you an assessment of your business and learn more. No fees attached, and we'll give you our 2 cents. If you're a fit, we'll definitely work with you. If you're not, then it's okay.
Amazing. You heard it here first. Just go to the Webtimize website, or if not, go look up these guys up in LinkedIn, Instagram, and all the socials, and just make sure you set up a time to talk and see if it's a proper fit. I can vouch that a mini masterclass can be had with how Abdo just instructed me with answer engine optimization, so you'll get something out of the call. But with that said, Abdo, thank you so much, man, for hopping on the show, for coming on and telling us about your experience about Webtimize. Really appreciate it. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure shared with you.
And to everybody here who is listening still with us, thank you so much for staying on the show, for coming on each time again to listen to the different personalities that we bring on and the different industries that we're talking to. So with that said, I'll see you on the next one.